Hi, it's Dr. Cameron. So I'd just like to give you a visual and some auditory feedback on your mind map and on your recording, your recovery recording. So the neonatal peripheral IV insertion, I would add 4 new nurses or 4 novice nurses in the NICU, just to make it clear the group that you'll be teaching. So operant conditioning is definitely B.F. Skinner, so it's good that you took that from the behaviorism, right, from behaviorists, and then kind of narrowed that down to Skinner. So I find that your view of knowledge and learning is correct here. Role of the student, right, must provide a response to a stimulus and receive immediate feedback. That's right. They will respond, right, to a stimulus, whatever that stimulus is, and then they need to receive immediate feedback. Now, this is what I want you to think about. I'm going to make this next comment. So, in your recording, you said that the reinforcement would be the positive reinforcement would be being allowed to then progress to inserting an IV into an actual neonate right after the practice. But I want you to think about each of those individual practice sessions, because obviously you're not going to just allow them to be successful once in simulation and then move on, right, to putting a IV in a neonate. So I want you to think how else you would step that in. So remember, this is action and reward or punishment. Put punishment in quotes, right? So action, reaction, action, reaction. So that's Skinner's theory. So the student who would, or the learner who would put in that IV and do it correctly, right, what sort of feedback, immediate feedback would that person get, right? So make it clear that it's action, reaction, reaction in sequence, right? Not just action, action, action. And then the positive would be, oh, now after 3, you get to, 3 successful attempts on the mannequin, you get to, put an IV or attempt to put an IV in a neonate. So kind of flush that out a little bit. Your next theorist, right, you talked about was, here we go, conditions of learning. I was looking for the label, and that is the correct theorist, right, Yagi. And your theory of knowledge and learning is fine. I like that you broke it out into those 5 categories. So if you're going to use this theory for your paper, please make sure you do that. And I find that this is that your explanation is correct along with those steps in that theory. Okay, let's move over here to experiential learning, right? And that is Carl Rogers, right? And Carl Rogers, in his theory, has that believes that learning takes place when the context is relevant to the learner, right? And that is very important for humanistic theories, right? So in humanistic theories, like the theories of Maslow and things like that, it has to be central to the learner, right? Meaning has to be central, right? Excellent. Now let's go up here to social learning theory, which is the theory of Albert Bandura. Bandura's theory of social learning has to do with self-efficacy, right? So it's just not efficacy, it's self-efficacy, okay? So make sure that if you're going to use Bandura's theory of social learning theory, right, for your paper, that you are definitely bringing in that self-efficacy, how a student feels about themselves and how they feel they can learn, right? They can learn rather than they can't, right? Because whether they feel they can or they feel they can't, they're correct, right? That's very important, right? So self-efficacy in Bandura's theory is extremely important. So then when you go down here to the role of the student, right? The role of the student is to, right, to come ready to learn with those skills that they already know, and to come ready and willing, right? That students must be provided opportunities to watch, to master, perform. That's the role of the educator, right? That's your role, right? That they be provided opportunities, because students can't do that, right? They can't manipulate that. So students would have to make sure that they were aware, that they were watchful, that they were engaged in the task, things like that. but the providing opportunities is the role of the educator, right? And in social learning theory, it is again kind of a group thing that you described in your audio. That you need to build that self-efficacy. So how, if students are unsuccessful with these IBs, how are you going to build their self-efficacy when maybe others are achieving and they are not, right? So part of social learning theory is to consider those who are not achieving, right? And what that non-achievement is going to mean to their self-efficacy and their ability to perform. So if you have any questions about any of my feedback and what in the particular learning theory that you want to use for this educational endeavor, please feel free to email me.